Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here with the Wrestlemania 36 Night 1 review. Wrestlemania was here. We wouldn't have really known it. I can honestly tell you that wrestling is still continuing on in the United States. We've got WWE, we've got NXT, we've got AEW, we've got Raw, we've got SmackDown, we've got pay-per-views. I can honestly tell you that as a fan, it is very hard for me to get attached to what's going on inside of the ring, wrestling or non-wrestling, because of the fact there's no fans there. Stone Cold Steve Austin himself showed up for Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago, and even Stone Cold couldn't get me pumped up because I think you really need that fan, crowd noise to make you feel like when you're sitting at home that you're missing something. And sometimes the fans can get you so pumped up that you actually take yourself out of your living room or your bedroom and you're involved in what's going on. And there's so much that you kind of feel like you're there. I mean, that's why I think there's so many people that sort of relive moments. And when they tell stories, they feel like they were at, Kurt Gibson's Game 1 home run with him pumping the fist running around second base. I'm sure there was more fans that tell people they were at that game that they sold tickets to. Or, when the pitcher pitches a perfect game, or Jordan has the flu game. Fans feel like they were there. They get taken out of it and they get brought into it. But night 1 of WrestleMania 36 -1 match. The only way you can put it, it just wasn't that good. I mean, things started out with the Cesaro versus Drew Gulak match that I really feel like, honestly, if this was even inside of Ray James Stadium, or I think that's what it's called, in Tampa, fans would have still been in the parking lot and not really cared about it. I made a lot of noise about my WrestleMania 32 trip when I couldn't even get into the arena or stadium, Dallas Stadium in Texas, for the pre-shows. I didn't get to my seat until the matches actually started on the main show, and I felt ripped off, even though, those matches, when you look back on it, didn't really mean anything, but there was wrestling going on inside of a ring that I wanted to be a part of, and because of what was going on and the miscommunications and not being able to scan the tickets and get people into the arenas, fans had to sit outside, and it didn't make any sense at all to me, and I really felt screwed. But Cesaro and Gulak, they had a match. Cesaro hit the UFO for the first time in WWE. He's been in the company since basically WrestleMania 28. And for him to save that move for a big moment and finally hit it in what I thought was the pre-show of WrestleMania 36, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, that was one of his big moves on the indies that he's saved. Didn't do it in any of his matches till now. And, wow. Cesaro gets the win. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, they beat the Kabuki Warriors for the tag team championships. Nothing really big from that match. Elias and Corbin came out. Elias rolled up King Corbin for a pin. I thought it would have been really cool. There's lots of talk about them trying to surprise people and give people a feel-good moment for this WrestleMania that they're going to remember for a long time. Corbin, of course, threw Elias off of the set on SmackDown, sort of killing Elias, and Elias even made some videos hyping up the fact that he didn't know if he was going to be able to recover in time. And I know we've got a retirement from Kurt Angle, but I think if WWE would have put in a call to Kurt Angle to come back, do a match against King Corbin, even if it would have been a spot, match where he would have won it in 30 seconds, I think that it would have gave some feel-good moments to some fans that thought that, Angle got ripped off to lose his last match in WWE, putting over Corbin for nothing. Because, in the last year, what have they really done with Corbin? Nothing. He lost to basically nobody. Didn't really make any sense. It wasn't like he made somebody that actually used that to, shoot themselves into stardom. Corbin's just another guy, a lot like a Wade Barrett guy who, became King Barrett and didn't do anything with it besides for just wear a goofy costume. That's King Corbin for you right there. Becky Lynch surprisingly beat Shayna Baszler. Baszler to have that moment at the Elimination Chamber, just going in there and defeating everybody. I think it's the first time we've ever seen a clean sweep in the Elimination Chamber where one wrestler win and actually eliminated everybody. To just get beat by Becky Lynch didn't really mean much to me at all. Sami Zayn got a surprise win over Daniel Bryan to keep the Intercontinental Championship in one of probably the only ladder match that I think I can remember that I just didn't care for as much as this match was during the NWO Sold Out pay-per-view where Syxx and Eddie Guerrero had a match, and they tried to involve the ladder match where they didn't involve the ladder, trying to make their match different than everybody else's at that time. This match, I mean, it had some big spots on there, but Morrison came down with the titles as Uso and Kofi were just standing there holding the actual thing that held the titles. I'm really surprised. I don't have my feelings hurt. It's not like, bummed about it, but, Kofi Kingston, he got a little bit of a better match because of the fact that he wasn't involved in a tag match, but I think a lot about Lex Luger was wrestling for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 10, and then he was in the opener of WrestleMania 11, wrestling a tag team match with the British Bulldog against the Blue Brothers. I mean, what a fall one guy had in the company from 1 year to the next. Kofi Kingston went from winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 35 to being involved in a tag title match. And it ends up because, I guess, Miz got sick, but he was on SmackDown. I don't understand that at all. This ended up becoming a triple threat ladder match, which sort of is going to be remembered as a bigger match than it really was. It was the match that got the most time. But, Miz and Morrison keep the titles in a tag team ladder match that only had 3 competitors. Owens and Rollins, this match ended in a disqualification with Rollins hit Kevin Owens with the ring bell. This, of course, made it where Kevin Owens called out Rollins and said he wanted the bell to ring again, restart the match, and be no disqualification. Kevin Owens actually climbed up the actual Wrestlemania sign that would hang in the top of the arenas when they went on tour for Raw and SmackDown, but it was kind of down. They were using it almost like it was like a sign, not like a sign, but like a what am I trying to say? They were using it a lot like it was an actual Titantron, I guess you can say. And he climbed to the top of it, jumped off, went through the table with Rollins on top of it, got Rollins into the ring and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Owens gets the win. Continuing on with Owens Mania 4. Braun Strowman beat Goldberg in this big match of just these 2 big guys getting in the ring, bumping bellies, and getting it done. Goldberg did hit a really nice spear at one time. He was rocking a nice, I'll call it the Randy Savage beard, but it's like the same beard that Hulk Hogan is wearing. Why he didn't shave it down to being a goatee, or why he didn't, put some Just for Men in there, not to make him look like he's the old Superman, but maybe that's kind of the look that he's looking for, of being like the should-be retired superhero, but still getting in the ring for WWE and getting it done. This is Strowman's first shot with the actual championship. He's flirted with being the champion for quite a few years now. I'm hoping that this is going to be a good run for Strowman, so we'll have to see, but you got to think if, the world gets cleaned up a little bit, maybe they'll do Strowman versus Reigns. They've done this match before quite a few times, and it's been good. They had the ambulance match, the last man standing match, and other matches like that. So these guys actually going at it for the championship where they can just beat the hell out of each other. It should deserve to be a big match. And plus, at this time, it looks like they're both going to be baby faces, especially with Strowman being the champion. Should build for a good SummerSlam main event. And then, of course, Undertaker beating AJ Styles in the Boneyard match. Never seen anything like this in WWE besides for the one Bray Wyatt versus... it wasn't called the Ultimate Deletion match, but it was Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy at the Hardy Compound, whatever the match was called. This is the main event of Raw. It's been said by Matt Hardy that Vince hated it, but I guess they had to do something like this, and it was possibly the best way to get the best out of Undertaker. He came off looking like Clint Eastwood in my mind. It was the closest thing to a movie you'll ever see. And I know that I was really scared about, them actually having time to cut these things and overcutting and making decisions and overthinking them, but this is quite possibly one of my favorite Undertaker matches that I've ever seen. It might even be one of the best things I've seen from WWE in quite some time that actually got me excited. If this match was this good and they delivered something like this, it gives me even higher hopes for the John Cena versus Bray Wyatt match. So, ultimately, give WrestleMania 36 Night 1 a thumbs down. I will tell you that the Undertaker AJ Styles match was so good that it makes me think that maybe it's not all the way down, but damn, that was a really fun match, guys. Really, really fun stuff. So hopefully tomorrow night's better. Off the top of my head, it looks like I got the card right here. Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, Brock versus Drew. You've got Cena versus Bray Wyatt. You've got the 5-way elimination for the SmackDown Women's Championship that's Bayley's the champion of. Street Profits going up against Austin Theory and Angel Garza. That's possibly going to be the opener tomorrow. And then you got Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley, Edge versus Orton, and then Otis versus Ziggler. So we've got some stuff. I can honestly tell you there's more matches I care about in night 2 than night 1. So we'll see how that delivers tomorrow night. Well, here we are again after WrestleMania 36 night 2. I can honestly tell you that night 2 was stacked with bigger matches than night 1. I don't know if it's just the long haul of watching shows back-to-back nights and not really being in the thick of it, being a real wrestling fan these days and all. But I don't know. It didn't feel like night 2 lived up to night 1, even though the fact that there's no real matches that really blew me away. Definitely the one thing that most people are going to remember from night 2 is going to have to be the Firefly Funhouse with John Cena and Bray Wyatt. I'm hoping that there's going to be more to come from this on Monday Night Raw. I don't even know what's going to happen to the future of wrestling with what's going on in the world as of right now. If Monday Night Raw is just going to turn into a best of WWE show or a commercial for the network or something like that. But it's WWE. They got tons of money. As long as the wrestlers don't throw a fit and uprise and tell Vince that they don't want to be traveling through airports and things like that to get shows, they'll find a way to make a show for us to watch and continue with wrestling. And I guess Money in the Bank is the next pay-per-view. Maybe we'll get that somehow. But night 2 of WrestleMania 36, I was really surprised that Charlotte beat Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. It does put another big star on NXT. It was kind of surprising when Finn Balor went there, but it made sense. Charlotte going back there, even though I don't think it's like a long-term full-on move, it does solidify NXT as a real third brand. I thought it made more sense if Ripley would have beat Charlotte and solidified NXT as being a real third brand, a lot like how Bragging Rights would do, or the Survivor Series is always sort of given SmackDown the upper hand on those shows to sort of say like, hey, we're a real wrestling show over here, and you should check us out. It's not just about the Monday Night Raw entertainment show. But the Edge and Orton match, I think a lot of people are probably going to be looking forward to really wanting to see Edge have a match in the ring. But this is a way to have him come back and give us a sort of longer match. And definitely having the cuts probably helped out Edge and Orton a lot. But I think it's the Shawn and Triple H thing when they did theirs at SummerSlam 2002. That was really cool, but very few matches can live up to that. And maybe it's because I'm not the biggest Orton fan. I was rooting for Edge, put the shirt on for him. They got a Pro Wrestling tees, but You know, I think we want to see the entrance, the crowd, see the match in the ring. A real wrestling match. I think that's what we want to see from Edge. Instead of seeing the bells and whistles and just trying to find a way to string along a match with the last man standing match thing. We'll get it. It'll get there. Drew McIntyre won the championship. It came out of the middle of nowhere. I think I was just really so surprised from the John Cena thing that I really wasn't paying attention to the match. I almost fell asleep during the Bayley match. Lacey Evans really surprised me, had a really good match. For a second, I thought she was going to win. It really did. And then I really thought we were all going to see Sasha Banks turn on Bayley. Didn't see it. But nothing really too big from the Street Profits match. They got the win. But WrestleMania Night 2. It had some surprises. We didn't get any returns from like past legends or anything like that. So that I think that's one of the things that didn't give it the WrestleMania feel. But then again, I'm sure they didn't really want to be flying in, older legends to do things in the world the way it is today. So, WrestleMania Night 2, it wasn't as good as Night 1, but I think if they do go with this future thing of WrestleMania on 2 separate nights, the second night's always going to have sort of a downfall. That's the same thing a lot of people said about the New Japan show from Wrestle Kingdom. Night 2 didn't live up to Night 1 because people were so tired from staying up all night the night before. It was hard to make it through the back-to-back nights there. So, thank you guys. We'll see what goes down with Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. I'm sure there is going to be something fun on that show because it might be the last thing that we see involving wrestling for a while from WWE.